So, we are going about life. We are going about how real estate can be the ultimate vehicle for designing a life you want. And for that conversation, we have Emre and Erol, which leads Keller Williams Turkey. It's a strong organization with almost 4,000 agents and has turned real estate into a platform of freedom, impact, and purpose. So, Emre, thank you for joining me for this interview. When you hear the phrase "live a bigger life," what does that mean to you?
Not big enough.
Not big enough. Deep dive a little bit.
Well, first of all, good morning, everyone. Thank you. Thanks for having me, and thanks for inviting me. I mean, we've been trying to do this for a very long time.
Yeah, we're trying to move forward from February.
Yeah. And Ilana has been inviting me for so many years, so finally this is happening, Ilana. So, anyways, I'm part of Keller Williams for almost 12 years, and I have been in real estate for 25 years. This is all I have done in my life, professionally. And like you said, today I'm running one of the largest organizations in the system in Keller Williams.
Actually, it's the first in the worldwide after the US and Canada.
After US and Canada, yeah. I think
Congrats.
it's time to pass Canada first and then US. We'll see. Anyways, like you said, I mean, today I have a bigger life than in the past. And when you ask me the question, what does it mean to me? The bigger life, first I think about the life, the concept of life. What I have experienced, especially in the time that I have joined KW, is there's life, which is a concept which is way bigger than ourselves, which we typically do not have a control on, which is basically the physical experience that we are experiencing every day. This is basically the life. So I have experienced that we basically have no power to change this. We don't have any control on this life. But there's another life, which is probably the one that you're asking, which is my life, which that is the one that I have more control and freedom on. So when you ask me what does a bigger life means, I think bigger life means a bigger influence. And that influence starts with yourself. So bigger life means bigger influence to yourself. Physically, mentally, spiritually.
So first stage is, in order to influence others, is to influence yourself to do what needs to be done.
Exactly. You have to grow yourself first to grow others. The second one is probably the people that is close to you, your key relations, starting your family. So bigger life means a bigger family, in my case. The third one is probably a bigger business. Today, my business is bigger than ever that I have experienced in the past 25 years. Therefore, financials. You have to be controlling your life through owning a profitable business and growing that profit. So bigger life means also a bigger financial freedom. So that's how I define a bigger life.
Okay. So you said you started 15 years ago?
25.
15 with KW.
A little less than 12.
Okay.
A little less than 12.
So 25 years ago, take us back a little bit. How the everything started? Because for sure we have in the room people who just joined the industry, and we have in front of us somebody who 25 years ago started and now is doing a fantastic business.
Thank you. So it was mostly coincidence and crisis.
Okay.
More than 20 years ago. Because I did my education in business, and then I did my finance master's in portfolio management. But by the time that I have graduated, which was the year 2000, we were again experiencing a huge financial crisis in Turkey. So I wasn't able to enroll to any business. So I was kind of unemployed when I graduated from my master's degree. By coincidence, I decided to move along and started my own business in real estate. So I was one of the first Century 21 office owners in Turkey, and I was very successful in that sense for 7 years. But it wasn't easy. I mean, you're young, you're an entrepreneur, you don't know anything about the industry. So in the early days, it's mostly about the startup mindset. You just want to survive and you learn the basics of the business. So 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago, it was the basics.
So how did you start as an agent, and what the first period was for you as an agent?
Yeah, I was basically a solo agent.
Okay.
So I'm trying to service and help the clients, the sellers and the buyers. I was a typical solo agent. And then I managed to own my own real estate office. And I was able to grow the business up to 40, 50 agents. At that time, that's a big number for a real estate office, where the average agent per real estate office is 2, 3 agents. So I used to own a quite large real estate office. And then, at one moment, which wasn't a moment, it was basically 2 years of, having these challenges of not growing personally in a business. So I was constantly hitting the ceiling. I decided to break apart with my previous, company, Century 21, and I became independent for 2.5 years. During that period, what I did is I basically keep myself out from my own business. And it was
interesting. So
yeah.
you keep yourself out of the business.
Yeah. I basically fired myself from the business that I owned. I was lucky that my brother was basically coming into the business, so he decided to leave the business. But I remember that there was a period, I think around 2008, that it was quite struggling personally, that I wasn't really happy in the business that I have built. And I remember that was a real estate office with 3 stories. It was like a house, it was like a villa. And I was on the 3rd story, I was on the 3rd floor. I had this small desk that I'm typically working. So I find myself facing to the wall, and my back is basically facing to my people who's supposed to be growing my life and growing my business. So I have realized that I wasn't basically even facing to my people. So it was the time that you understand that you should do something radically different to change the trajectory of your business, your people, and yourself. And then it was the moment that one of my friends told me that, you've been struggling this for almost 2 years. How about you just speak with a consultant? Actually, she's a psychologist. So I met with her. She told me that, we're going to have this session. It's going to be like 45 minutes. And depending on how it goes, we're going to have further conversations. So at the end of the first meeting, she said, young fellow, this is going to be very straightforward. And this is not typically what psychologists do. They typically ask you questions, and it's more like a self-exploration period. She said, this is going to be a different approach. I really like you. You have to stop whatever you have been doing in the past 2.5 years. You can't really stay in that area. You can't really get that depressed. You're not growing, your business is not growing, you're not happy. You should stop that, and you're still too young. So that was a wake-up call. So I called my brother and my parents, and I said that I'm going to leave this. I'm not going to do this anymore.
So on that path, it was a specific moment that you realized, when you realized that real estate could be the path to a bigger life for you. And I know you prepared some slides, so if the technical team can help us with something, because when we hear about 4,000 agents, you're so lucky. You're so lucky. But everybody knows that Turkey, financially and as a macroeconomics, is have challenges, and it has been for a while. It's not so the environment. It's not very friendly to build a business.
So when I decided to quit my real estate business more than 15 years ago, if really helped me to understand. So you've been trying to upload the slides. Okay. I think they will.
Okay.
Yeah. So, so I think before that, this is the slide that you've been asking for. So this is 2013. But when I quit my own real estate business, this is basically 5 years before this timeline. And the moment that I fired myself, I was more open to the new ideas and new opportunities. It was the time that you really go down personally and your financials, you're unemployed. But once you started to look for the opportunities, that was the time that I met with KW. It was 2012 that the KW was planning to go global, expand the business, and I became the fourth region in the system. And like you said, from the start, until today, life hasn't been that easy. So maybe some of you have been seeing on the news that in the past 10, 12 years, the country and geographically and economically and politically, we've been through lots of things. So it wasn't an easy 10, 12 years, but we managed to grow the business. The reason that I have shared this slide with you is there are times in our lives, in our businesses, that we feel that the world is ending, it's too challenging, we can't do that, we just experienced that moment. And I just wanted to show you that you're not alone. You're not alone. We all experience some things. So this is the time that we have built the company. So it wasn't the first time that we have launched, 2013. From 2013 to 2025, you have seen on the small, sexy icons that we have experienced about 45 to 50 major incidents in the country, which means that every quarter we're experiencing something really significant. Which also says us that this quarter, in the final quarter, we're gonna experience something. Probably in the beginning of next year, we're gonna experience another thing. So life happens. Out of that 40, 45, 50 events, we have been going to the elections for 11 times. My younger one he's 12 years old. He probably experienced more elections than any 30, 40 years old, let's say, a US citizen. So you know what happens before the elections and after the elections, markets slow down, it goes faster, you constantly experience that shift. We have experienced natural disasters. We have experienced earthquakes, magnitude of about 6, and we have experienced 12 of them. 2.5 years ago, we experienced one of the major earthquakes which caused 300,000 casualties. And we have seen political things. We all experienced COVID together. So we all experience life together. That is why this is the life that you have no control on. This is too complicated, too powerful, and too, it changes constantly.
Yes.
So typically the question that I get is, how have you been able to stay in the business, grow the business?
That was my question also for you.
Personally and as a business. I keep getting this question a lot. That's why yesterday morning, it was a last-minute call. I prepared those slides and sent it to you, which might help you in your life and in your businesses. So we have seen 7 things. Can we just change the slide?
Yeah, basically, those were accidents, but your success is not by accident. And my question is, what kind of models of thinking push you forward? Because life and all that situations will say, stop. It's dangerous, not doing that, not moving forward, just do whatever you are doing to survive, because growing is so dangerous.
Exactly. I mean, this is what happened, the whole thing that you have seen on the slide. But life is about how you respond to those activities or those incidents. Because you can change those, but you can basically change yourself, your attitude, and the things that you do against those incidents. And when you ask me about the models should be the things that you should be you should be shadowing or you should be applying. Anyone should be doing that. That's why I came up with those 7 things. And those 7 things really helped me out in the past 10, 12 years to tackle those challenges and manage to grow the business and grow my life. The first one is the people that I have been in business with. The second one is the standards and the vision that I have provided to my people, starting from the beginning and keep providing that big vision and the big standards. The third one is leadership matters a lot when you're experiencing crises or shifts or challenges in your life. The fourth one is keeping things simple, following the models, the proven models. The fifth one is the mindset. Keep having a strong mindset and resetting your mindset all the time because you keep experiencing new stuff. The sixth one is the purpose. You need to know your purpose, which will motivate you even the times that you're feeling really low. And the last one is basically work really, really hard. So what I did is I basically provide tips for each of those 7 steps. You can then get the slides. I can share the slides. At the end of the slide, I have my QR code, so you can add me on your Instagram. You can basically DM me. I can send you the slides, or I can answer your questions. Right?
So basically, what we have seen here, Emre, it's about leverage.
Yeah.
It's about people, standards, leadership, and so on and so forth. So. Tell us a little bit about the idea of leverage and how do you think about building through people and not just with people?
Yeah, when you mention that we have about 4,000 people, it's great that you have many people, but in my experience, you just need few great people to achieve bigger goals. You don't need many people. You of course need many people to get bigger returns in your business, but my realization is that really very, very, very few great people help me out with these big numbers. And to pick those people, I think the key is you need to understand their character and their attitude, which is the key when you're going to bring people around you. The other stuff, the talents, skills, experience, you can always change those or develop those things. You can have new experiences, you might have new track records, you can improve the skills or talents, they will change. But character and attitude as the adult, it's really hard. So try to find talented people with right character and the attitude. The third thing that I have realized in my life, and this is something that recently I have been aware of this, you would like to get the right people in the right roles to get the right results, but the timing is very important. Not everyone could be the right people for the right roles. Today, what I have been seeing in my life, let's say, in my 25th year in business and more than 10 years with KW, some of the people that gets me here to get those results may not be the people that will get me there. So having the right people for the right roles at the right time is the key. So how do you get those people around you? How do you get these few great people around you? The key, or the thing that I did, is since I don't have any track record, I was small, I was young when I was building KW, the first great people, basically they followed me because of my reputation, my energy, and my big standards and my big vision. I'm honest with you. In the first few years, I wasn't paying a lot to my great people. I didn't have that money. Financially, I should be disciplined, very disciplined. But the vision, the standards, the goals, the mission that we have, they get really excited about this. That's how they followed me. The second thing is, you might have a big mindset, you might have big goals, but without having big steps, taking bold and big actions, you're not going to achieve that. And that time, I have realized that some people knows what to do. They set big goals, they have a big vision, but they don't take the big steps. They don't take the big actions. What I have experienced is that people are sometimes getting the fear of taking those actions. Or in some cases, they don't get motivated. People sometimes ask me how I have a high energy or motivation. I wake up like this. I'm lucky in that sense. But some people, they need to get motivated. But how do people get motivated? You have to, or people need to see the value of big vision or taking the big actions. When in some cases, I just see people just having fun to take those actions. It's the joy that makes them to take those actions. But in some cases, they just need to see the value of taking those actions. So when I look at those 5 things and speak with the people, and I speak thousands of them, I spend majority of my time with the top agents all around Europe and in Turkey. Those are the 5 things between taking an action and having a big goal. So which one is yours? Are you scared? You're not having fun of it? You're not motivated? You don't see it valued to take an action? Or you just don't know the mission, your purpose in life, so that it drags you to that big thing. And the last thing is, once you've grown, you should be more humble. Humility is the biggest virtue when you grow your business. So the third thing is leadership. Once you have the right people, set the right standards, you should be the best leader, what they call the best version of yourself. To become the best version of yourself, first you need to know yourself. So I think the key to become a great leader, I think leaders should be like themselves. You have to create your own leadership model. My model is, in the past 12, 13 years, since we've been experiencing all those crises, being present, being there, being approachable was my first and my basic model. Anyone can approach me. When they look, they always see me. I'm always around. I think that's the key. The second thing is, I have never seen any leader taking up any responsibility. So if you want to be a leader, you should raise your hand and you should take a responsibility. But if you want to stay as a leader, you should deliver your responsibilities, which means that you shouldn't be over-promising. You have to be very careful with your words and with your promises. I'd rather promise less and deliver more to my people, rather than promising a lot and then not delivering it. You can stay as a leader. So those are some of the tips that could help you with the leadership. Some things that I have been trying to apply, and those 6 things has been helping me a lot with my leadership. So keeping it simple. I find myself really lucky to become partners with KW. It's not about the company or the brand, or not about the logo. It's more about how they bring models and systems in our life. Before I met with KW, for about 12 years in the industry, I have been trying to create my own models as a real estate agent and as a real estate office owner. So once I became partners with models and systems, the smart thing that you should be doing is you need to follow those models which you invested in. So if you just follow the models, which are the proven models, and keep it simple, you get the results. And the second thing about keeping it simple is the communication. I believe that if you want your people to follow you as a leader, they need to trust you first. For them to trust you, they need to understand you. For them to understand you, you need to keep it simple. If you communicate in a complicated way, people will not understand you. It's not about intentions, but they will not trust you and follow you. So keeping it simple in your business and in your communications is also the key for leadership. The other one is the mindset. I think it's the number 1 rule. You can only control what you can control. All those incidents I have no impact on. Even when you go to the elections, you think that you're making your choices. You vote for someone or a party. But in some cases, they don't get elected. So even in the elections, you may not be having the choice of your life. So you can only control what you can control. That is the key. That is the number 1 rule for a strong mindset. And the other 3 is, you have to stay away from those 3 Ds. The first one is drama. You have to remove drama from your life. The second one is divulge, gossip. Drama and gossip usually created by the people. If those people are toxic, creating drama and gossip and divulge, you have to remove that people from your life. And the last one is you have to stay away from distractions. I have experienced lots of worthy distractions in my life. The people that really like me, that really cares about me, they come with this creative ideas, new models. They just want to help you, they love you. But saying no to lots of things, or more things than the things that you say yes to, really gets you focused on the most important things. Keep things simple and get the results. So staying away from distractions is the key. What else? Oh, this is something that I have learned from a book that I read 6 years ago. If you haven't read it already, that's a beautiful book. The author is David Goggins. You can follow him on social media. He was an ex-military in the US. So I have learned from him that we all, as the people, have 40% reserve power, mentally and physically. When the time that we start to say ourselves, I'm done, we're done, you're not really literally done.
You can more.
Yeah, you have a reserve power. In order to tap into that reserve power or reserve area of 40%, my tip or my tactic is just to do one more. If I am physically challenging myself when I'm working out,
which is another book written by Ed Milet, One More.
yeah,
One more call,
yeah,
one more exercise.
yeah. If you just do one more repetition, if you just make one more call, if you're not getting enough answers from your clients, you're making lead generation, you're not getting enough appointments, therefore you're not getting enough listings, try to make at least one more call. So that will help you to tap into that reserve power. And the last two, live the life that you design. This is basically your first question about the bigger life. I think there are 4 components of that. The first one is something that we have decided in the beginning. To live the life that you want to design, first you shouldn't be challenging the big life that we don't have any control on. You need to understand and recognize that it is more powerful than yourself. And the second one is you need to purposefully start designing your life. And there are 2 ways to purposefully design your life. First, creating a momentum in your life, which could be your best friend. And how do you create momentum? You need to be constantly getting the right results. So getting the results will create a momentum. And then how you get the results? You create your habits. How do you create the habits? You have to be doing the right actions for the right amount of time. So taking the actions, the right actions for the right amount of time will create habits. Your habits will determine your results, and getting constant results will create momentum. And hopefully positive momentum through taking the right actions. So take the actions. And the fourth one is you need to have the key and key relations, right people surrounding you to help you with your actions and the results.
So this is your formula for life by design and not life by chance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So let's get a little bit practical.
Okay, and the last one, just
Okay.
And the last one is basically, you have to work hard. I mean, I think it's the basics. When 25 years ago, I started working really hard because it was the startup phase in my business career. 12 years ago, when I founded Keller Williams, we only had like 4 agents. Now we have like 4,000. When we had 4 agents, I was really working hard. I was responsible for lots of things because I didn't have that much money, so I have to be very careful with my finances. And I have been basically responsible for many roles. But today I'm still working hard, but taking different decisions. I have different responsibilities, but you really have to work hard to be the role model for your people, and especially in the changing environment. You have to be there and you have to nail it. There are times that you feel demotivated or you doubt. You wake up with fear. I was very honest with you in the morning. Yesterday, I said I always wake up with fear because when you have a bigger life, bigger family, bigger responsibilities, there's a small component of fear that really wakes you up and kicks that adrenaline to get you focused. So when you doubt, you just need to work hard. That's it. That's it. Yeah. And if you need the slides, just through my Instagram.
Yeah, we're getting to wrap up, but before, for sure in the room there are people which are stuck in the transaction treadmill. So this is the only focus, how I'm going to do the next transaction, and the next one, and the next one. So
Yeah, we're real estate agents.
exactly.
Transactions.
But at the same time, which is the first step to a bigger life in terms of thinking strategically, thinking in business terms, thinking on stages that will bring you that moment that you can say who is doing
Yeah.
what needs to be done.
Yeah. I think we first start with accepting the reality is that real estate practice is this. Majority of the real estate agents still in the industry, pretty much everywhere in the world, this is their second or third opportunity in their life. Not many people start their professional career as a real estate agent like I did 25 years ago. You're a banker, you're a professional in another company, so you join real estate industry typically for two reasons. First, you want more freedom, you want to control your own destiny, time, or agenda. And with that, you want to make money. But what usually happens is either you're too free, you don't make money, or you make lots of money, but you lose your freedom. So that is the reality with real estate business.
Yeah.
So you constantly find yourself in this daily operational, let's say, mode, right? Like you said, transactional mindset.
Yeah.
And I do understand that. And it usually changes from industry to industry. If it's a fast market, demand is high, the economy is really going, in a momentum. You just want to close deals, you do showings, you go, you close the deals, it's too normal. But at one point you have to stop and go beyond that and look at your business from a higher perspective. And it's not easy to do that. So the first step is I think you need to get a coach. You need someone to poke you and say, you need to slow down.
So basically what we are saying, you cannot think bigger by yourself. You need somebody else
Yeah.
to punch you a little bit,
Yeah, usually.
take out of the comfort zone,
Yeah.
and to accept that and to allow them to do that.
Otherwise, life or yourself without your control will poke you. You might be losing your health.
Somebody's poking you anyway.
Exactly. Either you do it by intention, so you do it, you get a coach, you get a help, you ask for help, you raise your hand, or you might be losing something's really valuable, like your life, your health, or your family, or your loved one. So get a coach. And then I think once you've been able to stop and slow down from being let's say, a salesperson dealing with the daily things and to become a business person, I think the first step is you have to understand your business. Because we all, as the real estate agents in our daily life, we achieve amazing results. I know thousands of agents that have been getting amazing results, doing amazing things, but at one point you just do it automatically. It's just there. So I think the key is you have to know your business, what you do and how you do it. And the second one is you have to know your key numbers, your key metrics. What are the key numbers and what are your key conversion rates? Conversion rates are basically the relationships between the numbers. You have to know your key metrics. Third one is you have to prepare a budget. It still surprises me when I speak with the real estate agents all around the world. They don't prepare a budget, they don't know their margins, they don't control their expenses. So you have to have your budget. And probably the fourth one is you need to know your needs, your personal needs and your business needs. Where do you stand in your business? Does business needs you at all? Or which areas you're more successful, you love to do, or which areas you need help, so you need to know your needs.
Thank you. So, just a quick fire round.
Yes.
Which is your favorite leadership book?
Which is my favorite leadership book?
Yeah.
Oh, I have so many. I can send a list.
Okay.
If AD, oh, I can name you one. I read a lot, but I think it's a great leadership and a business book, which that person is more like a spiritual person. He's well recognized spiritual person right now, although he was a very successful business entrepreneur in technology. A book that I read in 2016 by Michael Singer, The Surrender Experiment, was a great book. After that book, it changed the way that I approached the business and life, and then I started reading all of his book and started following him as a leader. And there are so many. I mean, there's this.
Okay, so
I'll send the list.
I'll send the list. Which is the biggest failure and failure, and what did you learn?
In business, I guess, right? Okay. Because I failed a lot. Probably the biggest hiring mistake that I made was my biggest failure. That cost me a lot, and that was basically being a partner with someone who would build the company. So hiring a partner is a very expensive mistake, and I learned this. So it's not about the mistake, it's what you learn and what you stop doing and start doing, right? So once you see things are not going in the right direction, you have to move and deal fast. And I have learned that if the things are getting messy and the problems are big, if you're running the business, you still need to keep the business. So dealing with the problems and at the same time dealing with the problems, you can do that. It's a team sport. If you want to deal with the challenges, a person or a team should be running the business and you should be dealing with the problems. So you can't deal with all. And the last thing is probably if things are getting challenging, you need to be stronger physically, mentally, and with your relations. So typically what we do, if we face with a big problem, we start, smoking, drinking. We basically start harming ourselves. And I do understand that. But I think that the more challenging it is, you have to be more stronger. You have to be more focused. And you have to be staying above the attacks. You have to take the high road. So I think that's an attitude and that's a leadership skill that you can improve.
Great. One habit you never skip.
Exercise. Wake up early. Exercise, eat healthy, and have a good sleep.
Okay. And one piece of advice to your 25 years old self.
Party more. No, I mean.
Welcome 300.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I do to my nephews. But I mean, I think that's a great question. So when I decided to kick myself out from my previous business, a small real estate office, that seemed like a quick decision, but I was basically living in this gray area, not making that decision for very long, for about 2.5 years. Because I was scared, because I was very comfortable during that period. That was my own business, it's a nice neighborhood, I was basically dating with my wife, so we were going to windsurfing. It seemed very nice from outside, but from inside, things are not that nice. So I lived in that position for more than I should. So probably what I would tell to myself, a younger self, is it's not the end of the world. Make up your mind, decide and take an action. If things go south, you'll again take a decision and take an action. It's going to be okay.
Thank you, Emre.
Thank you.
you.